So, have you ever thought about the impact that paying for college actually has on your overall financial well being? Now, this is especially important for those of us that are using our savings or income to pay for college. When you think about it, $100,000, whether that be over 4 years, 5 or 6 years, however long your student is in college, will actually cost you more like $300,000 in your future. Now, that's pretty crazy, right? I'm not talking about student loans. Also, when you think about it, college is super expensive, and the biggest cost is not even tuition. These are things that most parents don't think about, and they really don't realize until it's too late or they've already lost the money. So I'm going to share my screen with you and kind of go through certain scenarios and some math just to kind of help you understand that what you don't know can definitely cost you, and how to possibly eliminate this huge cost that you may not even be thinking about or paying attention to. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So if you can see my screen right here, I'm gonna see, I'll do that. When it comes to paying for college, the impact of college. Now, this is a scenario here with mom and dad, about 45 and 46. A lot of us are in their mid 40s when we're sending our kids off to college. And we got a situation where they want to retire someday. Income is right around 175 combined, some retirement savings right around 138,000, but they have two children they have to get through college. Now, many of us here have multiple children that we also have to get through college. And you have two children that are a couple of years apart, but one is going to go probably to a 5-year college, right? Or be in college for 5 years to a public university. And the other is probably going to go more private. Just for the sake of conversation, this is nothing to do with who's smarter, who's not. And it's more about a good picture of the reality that many people face. So, but let's think about the impact that this is actually going to have on the family when it comes to paying for school. So when we look at it here, the total cost is about $345,000, right? Is the projected out-of-pocket cost when you look at your normal state college as well as your typical cost of attendance at a private college or private university. But the price that you pay, right, is different than the cost to you, right? The cost can be a lot higher than the actual price that you are paying. So what I mean by that is when we look at the opportunity cost for this family when it comes to their retirement, that 344,000 is more equivalent to $790,000, close to $800,000. A $350,000 price to send both children through college cost them close to $800,000 in lost retirement income. Now the question is, can you really afford it? Now, you might feel like you can afford the price of college, but we don't really think about the cost that that decision actually is going to have on our overall financial well-being. Now, this is assuming that we only have about a 5% return on investment. Now, many of us out there over 20 years, over 30 years, even maybe a shorter time frame, can feel very confident that we can get a greater or better than a 5% return. But you got, two kids through college, and 20 years into retirement, you're looking at $800,000 that if you would have kept that money instead of using it, using cash or using your income or savings is losing your cash. Now, what I want to kind of do is a lot of people may be watching this and saying, well, I don't have two kids. Maybe I have one kid, or maybe I do have two, but they're not going to schools that are that expensive. So I want to talk about opportunity costs. And it doesn't really matter how much college costs. It doesn't really matter where you send your child to school. But for opportunity costs, just for the sake of education, for every dollar that you acquire, you may choose to spend it or invest it, right? Invested dollars will grow over time, right? The best part about compounding is when you give it time, it grows and it constantly grows and compounds, right? That's the idea. And then spent dollars are gone forever. So the idea is that if you have a $20,000 bill every year, $10,000 bill, 50 grand, if you're spending that money, you're losing that money, right? It is gone. So the potential future value of spent dollars is called your opportunity cost. Now, the goal here that you should have and that every parent should have is to reduce or minimize your opportunity cost. Now, you want to do this when it comes to college planning a lot of different ways. You want to reduce your opportunity or your spending when it comes to out-of-pocket costs. You want to maximize financial aid. increase the ability to find, scholarships and private opportunities that your student can use money and funds for to pay for school. But once you've done everything that you can do when it comes to financial aid, and then also as you're going through your scholarship process, the other thing to think about is how you actually are going to pay the bill. Any remaining balance that you may have to pay, you want to have a good understanding and a method or a strategy on how to pay that bill. So what is opportunity cost? Do you earn any interest on that expense? I spent $10,000 on a room and board. Am I going to earn any interest on that expense? The answer is probably no. Is the expense or money spent accessible? Well, obviously not. It is gone. So what would money spent be worth at some future date if you had been able to invest it? That is what we're talking about when it comes to opportunity cost. Now, many of us here are saving for our retirement. Maybe we have a 401k, IRA, or other investments that we're saving or contributing to. And we want to talk about, if we put the money in those places, what would it look like in 20 years? So let's assume the expense is $20,000. You're only earning about a 5% rate of return on your dollar, and over 20 years. So if you're in your 40s, 20 years from now, you're mid 60s, right? You're 45 today, 20 years from now, you're 65. You're right around that retirement age, between 60 and 70 years old for most people. But when you look at paying for college and the impact that it actually has on your finances, if your expense of $20,000 had been had been invested at 5%, right? At a 5% APR compounding monthly for 20 years. Now we can say average 5%. Some years you may have done 8%. Some years you may have done 2%. Maybe you average 5%. And currently in certain high yield savings account, it's pretty easy to get a 5% return. But that costs you about $34,000 in opportunity cost, interest that you're not earning. So if you take that $34,000, right, plus the $20,000 that you spent, it costs you a lot more than just the $20,000. It costs you another $34,000, almost double over 20 years. And that's just at a 5% rate of return. What if you talked about a 6% return? Many of us here say we can get a lot better than a 6%. Maybe you've gotten a lot better than a 5 or 6% in your 529 account. But the worst thing that you have to do is spend that money when it comes time to use it for college. Now, it costs you about $46,000 if you were able to earn a 6% rate of return. That's not including the principal. So the whole point that we're trying to make here in this particular video is that you do not have to sacrifice opportunity costs. What if there were a better way to pay for college where you can possibly use your savings that you already have, or your income that you have coming in if you don't have savings, and you can use it and leverage it, right, to keep it growing, uninterrupted compounding and or growth that you can use, right, to always cover your college expenses, but also have available when the time is right or the time is needed in the future. So the idea is to be able to pay for school, right, in the most efficient way where it keeps you in a, I would say, financial positive environment or financial positive state. We want to maintain financial integrity while still helping our students pay for college. So if you have questions, you need more clarification, or if you want to talk about your unique situation and how this concept and or strategy can be applied to your situation, please comment below, reach out to us. I'll make sure my information is available via email. But this is one of those things that I think many parents miss. They definitely miss and need to understand. And this is the best way to be able to pay for school, be able to afford retirement, and not drown in debt while helping out your student, making sure you're good, helping out all your students, making sure you're good, and I would say in the best situation when it comes to financial well-being. Remember, what you don't know can definitely cost you. Thank you for watching this video. You got questions, we got answers. We're starting a whole series going into more detail and education about this particular concept and the strategies associated with this. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, like this video, share it, and be on the lookout for the next one. We'll talk to you soon.